week 3 of supporting young people's health and well-being. For this session, we will be reviewing self-compassion and then have a look at the feelings and physical sensations associated with anxiety. Self-care bingo is a lovely way to identify how many self-care routines we carry out on a weekly basis. How many can you identify right now? How many more can you fit into your weekly routine? So why do we feel the way we do? We are now going to look at the meerkat, elephant and owl theory. This is the meerkat, elephant and owl theory and looks at the impact the brain has on our behaviours and what causes us to behave in a certain way. This theory is mainly used to help trauma-experienced children understand the way their brain works. However, it can be used as a basic, easy way to understand neuroscience. It divides the brain into 3 parts and uses animals to represent each part of the brain. Meerkat, fight, flight, freeze mode. Elephant, memory. Owl, helps regulate our emotions. Our meerkat is the amygdala part of the brain. The job of the meerkat is to keep us safe and is on constant high alert, looking for danger and threat. It doesn't understand words, only body language and facial expressions. The elephant is the hippocampus part of our brain. Remember, elephants never forget. Our elephant stores our memories, thoughts and feelings, and there's some that we aren't even aware we have. The elephant reminds our meerkat of memories and feelings. The owl is the prefrontal cortex part of our brain and is the lid to our brain. This is the voice of reason, so clever, calm and sees the bigger picture. The owl part of our brain acts as our emotional brakes and helps us regulate how we are feeling. Everyone has different memories and triggers. These are good and bad, and we are all different with different life experiences, and that's okay. Some triggers may come from music, some may come from smells, the foods we taste, or different routes we go on. Can you think of any other examples that trigger your memories, good and bad? The theory explains when we become anxious, nervous or heightened, our meerkat feels threatened, as it is triggered by a memory we have reminded by our elephant. We may not even be aware of this memory. When we are in a heightened state, the owl flies away and means we no longer have control of our actions and behaviours, as the meerkat is in control. For example, a child draws on the wall and their parent shouts at the child, getting them into trouble. The child's elephant part remembers that when a parent shouts, they've done something wrong and are in trouble. The child's meerkat takes over as they feel threatened. Child then goes into freeze mode, and when asked why they drew on the wall, their response could be, don't know, as owl isn't there to regulate emotions and have reasonable thought processes, as the meerkat is now in control. It is important to remember that everyone will have different triggers to different feelings, and this is okay. For example, the smell of cleaning products could have a memory of hospital, which could have been a traumatic event, or hearing a certain song could have positive memories. Here is a video from Young Minds of young people and their views of living with anxiety. Reflecting back to what was discussed earlier regarding the meerkat, elephant and owl theory, can you now think of some examples for you or your child? So what might heighten you or your child to feel anxious or stressed? And are there any triggers or memories that you can think of? This is an emotions wheel, and this is a great resource to use to enhance emotional vocabulary, both for young people and also adults. As you can see from the middle circle, they have the key emotions that we tend to use, and the outside are words that are related to this emotion. For example, anger. Anger is always seen as a negative emotion, when in fact this is a positive emotion, as it is normal and natural to angry if someone hurts us or upsets us. But the words stemming off from anger are other words that may be associated with that. So someone may push us and may feel angry, but we may also feel threatened and hurt. The emotions thermometer allows children to distinguish levels of emotions, their triggers, and how to articulate their emotions in a more helpful way. For example, what will they need adult help with, and what might be a quick fix for them to do on their own. So where do we feel anxiety? There's a lovely activity called Body Map. Using a body template, draw or write on the body template where you feel your anxiety. For example, this could be in your stomach and having feelings of butterflies. Have a go with your child or children too, and get them to note down where they feel their anxiety. This activity can also be done by drawing around one another and doing this exercise on a bigger scale. You may use old wallpaper or even old wrapping paper. If you have butterflies in your stomach and feel nervous, remember that nervousness and excitement are actually the same chemical in your brain. If you tell yourself that you're excited for the speech you're about to give or for the first day of school rather than nervous, then sometimes you can completely change how you feel. Think about queuing up for a roller coaster. The next slide shows some more examples of physical sensations. Here are some other examples of physical sensations and how anxiety might present itself in our own bodies. We've already discussed butterflies in the stomach, but we may feel sick or even be sick. We may keep quiet and not want to speak. We may be the opposite and constantly be talking uncontrollably. We may have increased heart rate. We may be sweating and be feeling really hot. And we may also be shaking or feeling cold. Here is an example of a body map being used and where anxiety is presenting itself. So what can we do to keep our meerkat calm? We can discuss how it's okay to feel the emotions we're feeling and acknowledge the emotions and our thoughts rather than pushing them away and avoiding them. It's also important to ensure that we are allowing time for self-care, as discussed last week. Also, are my thoughts unhelpful or unhelpful? And refer back to the unhelpful thinking styles we discussed in week 1. Our takeaway task for this week is to talk about feelings, identify thoughts versus feelings. Have a look at the emotions wheel and emotion thermometer, as well as the body map, to help with this further. You can also refer back to previous sessions and look at the 5-factor model, thought record, and self-compassion to help if you wish. Next week, we will be looking at breathing exercises and creating a toolkit. If you have any questions or queries, please email us on familylearningteam@north-ayrshire.gov.uk.